What's going on, y'all? I'm back with another video. Today's video is gonna be a little bit different than normal, right? I would say for the gameplay that you guys are seeing, it's gonna be SRE plus hot foot feet. Depending on how long I edit this video, it's gonna be just the feet, or it's gonna be a few wipes before the feet. But anyways, with this video, what I want to address in this video is that people in my comment section for a lot of my loadout videos or build videos and stuff like that, it's always one or two people is like you shouldn't be doing that. This is the wrong way to do it. You should run this art instead of that art. And it's different ways to play this game, guys. A lot of y'all see one player with a lot of subscribers or clout, and y'all think that he or she is the DC guru when it comes to information and stuff like that. So y'all take the information you saw from that video, and you come to my comment section saying, well, that player doesn't do that, so what you do is wrong. That's not true. That's not true, man. That's not true at all. A lot of times, these players play one role, and then when they play the off role, they get their loadout from a friend or a league mate, and they upload it claiming it to be theirs or whatever, and they didn't even test it themselves to see if it's good or not. So let's pull up some comments and remarks of people telling me what I should and shouldn't do. Let's pull up this example. All right, so let's see. We got this guy named Reporter Card M. Y'all might know him if you go based off the profile picture. Y'all should be able to put two and two together. But if you can't put two and two together, go talk to Mr. ESO. He seems to know more math than anybody in this game, so go talk to him to put two and two together. But anyways, the backstory of this is that I completed my flashback reg runs, which is 350 raids that you got to do on regular. Queued up as a troll. And I expect as Vid and Mike so I can get in and out the runs as quickly as possible. So he goes in the comments under, I was at posting my skill points, that's the last PV feed I needed. So I posted my skill points in that post too as well. So he comments and says, you're specking your skill points as a troll. I'm like, okay, this is your biggest takeaway from the post. It has nothing to do with my skill point spec. I'm just celebrating, my last PV feat that I completed. Cool. You know what I'm saying? He's sitting there telling me how I should spec, hell, specking the hell and buff the group up and all that stuff. All the stuff I already know about trolling, right? I'm just like, in my head, I'm like, bro, it's rigged. Why am I buffing up people up in rig? First of all, when it comes to rig, there ain't no hitters in there, all right? You got people walking around with level 80 yards, some got 0 yards in. These guys go from hitting, they're hitting 100K, right? I buff them up, they're hitting for 110K. Whoop-de fucking do. All right, I'm not gonna sit here and buff these guys up. I'm not giving them power, I'm supplying them with power, and I'm doing my thing. In and out the run, simple as that. Anyways, I tell him, I spec correct based off what I'm doing. Obviously, he can't read that part, battle trolling, make up for the subpar burn that's in the pug run. And there he goes. This is the part that got me. There's no spec correct based on what you're running. There's only one correct spec. There's only one way to spec as a troll, y'all. Only one correct way. And that's y'all fan favorite when it comes to DC content for a lot of y'all. So there's only one way to spec as a troll, and he's not even the main troll. So you got people like him, telling me what to do and shouldn't do. So moving on. I like to inspect people, right? Whether I'm in open world or House of Legends, wherever I'm at, I like to inspect people. I like to see different builds. So the most common build I kind of see in today's controllers, artifact wise, is going to be, Claw, Tetra, Scrap, Sinestros, and Rao. That seems to be, the most common build, the most popular build right now that you find in most trolls. And it just reminded me of a time where I was actually having a discussion with this guy, telling me that Scrap is useless as a troll. And it's actually kind of funny because, at this time, this was like probably a year ago. And since a year has passed, nothing new for trolls has came out, right? So this build that everybody's using now has been in the game. Nothing's changed. Nothing's came out to where you can use this build all of a sudden. Within the past year, only thing that's came out was Purified Pages, Razor, and the Sunstone Helix art. Ally-wise, nothing new is came out, still rocking John Stewart and Flash. So let's bring up the discussion that we was talking about, right? So this was about a year ago. At that time, I think we had just gotten 5 arts. They just did the Ally revamp to where Flash was like giving us the walk it off, the level 10 Flash. So it was fairly fresh, right? I commented about, someone was asking about a troll build or whatnot, and I was using Scrap, testing some things out with Scrap. So we got this guy, right? He's saying that if you're saying that you need Scrap as a troll, you aren't. Let's be real. Then he goes on to say, just saying, don't act like scrap is the go-to troll art when it's not. Then he goes on to say, I run with the best players in the game. No blank troll uses scrap. Now blank stands for takes place for a league name. It's an in-game league. Not gonna say their name. Feel like there's no need to. For one, I don't even know if he was associated with that league. And two, I don't know if he still is associated with that league. So it doesn't even matter. All right. It just knows it's an in-game league. And he's going off them. He's meat riding them. Whatever. Cool. Apparently nobody in that league uses scrap as a troll. That's cool. So he goes on to say, I double down on it. Scrap is a useless troll art. I mean, no top troll uses scrap. It's always been a swap art. Scrap is a waste for a troll. Yes, like I'm talking about, it was crazy how bad he was bashing scrap. So this guy commented, this could be me, it could not be me, I don't know. Anyways, this guy said, don't use scrap so you can pop less group shields so I can activate my John Stewart passive less than normal. Got it now. Then hits him with that, that little Yachty Drake, mean gift thing, where obviously, little Yachty discovers that, oh, it's right there in front of me, duh. So then he goes on to say, so you better than blank trolls. Again, with blank standing for a league name. Like I said, I don't have any beef with any league in this game. So if you do take offense to this or whatever, this video, and you feel like the shoe fits, then I guess lace that motherfucker up, get to walking. I don't care. But anyways, to finish it off, he said blank is the best league on DCUO, ? They got the best players from every role. What you mean? Then my homie said, that's some funny shit. And then this guy right here that may or may not be me said, just because I don't upload my sauce to YouTube or stream it doesn't mean that I'm not one of the top motherfuckers in this game. So the funniest part about the whole situation is just that, everybody's using scrap now as a troll. He was vouching for, this in-game lead that wasn't using scrap at the time, saying it's not a troll art. Now everybody uses it. So I just find it kind of funny. And also too, with if y'all see my killer troll videos, that the only difference between that, art setup and what they're using now is that you're literally swapping Hecate for Tetra. That's it. It's the same exact art setup. So it's cool. I'm not trying to say I was the first person to do it. I can care less if I was the first person to do it, but I'm not afraid to, to try different things and have different builds and stuff like that. So that's all. Now I know it sounds kind of ironic coming from me, that guy that makes, loadout videos and stuff like that, but I don't sit here and tell y'all that my build's the only build in the game. You must follow my build, so, try different builds out, y'all. Read your powers, read your artifacts, read your allies. Don't be afraid of, saying that sounds like it goes good with that artifact or that ally or that power, and try it out. See if you like it. See if it works for you. You know what I'm saying? And if you watch somebody on YouTube about their build, don't be afraid to tweak it. You don't have to stick to their build that they post or whatever. You can tweak it to your liking. Especially for support role. Damage role, you can do some tweaks too as well, but support role, you can definitely do some tweaking to your liking. You can still be efficient. So don't be afraid to do that. Don't be afraid to, get out your comfort zone to, come up with your own builds. Cause that's what I do. What I'm saying? Like if you look at all my team videos, I have like at least 3 or 4 different builds for different situations. And, my main troll has at least 3 or 4 different builds as well. I think my healer probably has 2 different builds. I think healer has the least amount of builds. I have different DPS builds for different situations, open world raids and stuff like that. And like I said, just don't be afraid to come up with your own sauce, bro. Don't be afraid at all, man. You can watch my videos. What I'm saying? I don't mind if you copy. I don't care if you copy my loadouts. Power for power, art for art, ally for ally. I don't care. I ain't gonna have no offense to it. I make the videos for a reason. I don't gatekeep my stuff. If you want to tweak it to your liking, you might have a different play style than me. So tweak it to your liking. So that's the whole point I'm trying to get across. Don't be afraid to be different. Not even just in DCO, just in life in general. Don't be afraid to be different. Don't be a follower your whole life. Shit. But that's all, y'all. Appreciate y'all for watching. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.